Well, good morning. It's great to see everybody here today, and I want to start by thanking you all for being here as we officially launch the National Cyber Security Centre's annual review. Now, you're going to hear many remarkable statistics today, and perhaps some facts that may shock you. So let me begin with the first shocking but irrefutable fact. I was once a very young man. When I was a boy, the floppy disk was a state-of-the-art memory card. Pong, remember that, became the first ever video game. Bell Laboratories unveiled its newest invention, a Handel scientific calculator, which honestly I probably should confess never made it on to my Christmas list. If you dropped your mobile phone, you worried more about breaking the floor than your screen. And cutting-edge cybersecurity meant writing your password on a sticky note and hiding it under your keyboard. Anyway, I make these points not to betray my age, although it does so, but to demonstrate the non-stop sprint of progress that digital technology has taken during our lifetimes. Today, digital technology encompasses every single part of our lives. And while that brings us many advantages, it also creates many problems. If we're not careful, we can become complacent. The technology and services that we take for granted every day can and will be used against us. So it's vital for us all to keep pace with technological advancements and ensure that we're using technology responsibly. Now, we're going to go into some of the review's findings in a moment. But if you take one thing away from this morning, then let it be this. Cybercrime is one of the greatest threats to our economy, to our businesses, and to the livelihoods of our workers. And while the government is providing more cybersecurity support, we cannot do it alone. We need businesses to lead the way by making cybersecurity a top priority. And we need citizens to step up and take personal responsibility for their cyber safety. Only then, through that joint responsibility, can we overcome the threats outlined in this new report. Now, last year's detailed review showed how the National Cybersecurity Centre handled 89 cases of the most serious cyber incidents. Incidents where our essential services were disrupted or our national security was compromised. Incidents which, in the most extreme cases, could have led to major economic consequences or to loss of life. In the last year, those kinds of incidents have more than doubled. There were over 200 of them. And today, any syndicate of cowards hiding behind keyboards can have a devastating impact. These people have no qualms about ruining lives. There is no code of conduct that they share. They are just as happy hacking the NHS and nurseries as they are multi-billion-pound companies, as long as it serves their interests and as long as they get paid. This is a very real threat that businesses must take seriously. Now, we've seen, especially over the last couple of months, just how devastating these attacks can be. Marks and Spencer, the Co-op, and of course, Jaguar Land Rover. Just some of the high street names which have been targeted by cyber attacks already this year. Behind each of those names are hundreds of employees, thousands more in the supply chain, and millions of customers that rely on those goods and services. It is vital that we take the risk of these cyber attacks seriously. That's why we're doing more than ever before to help those affected by cybercrime. Today's review sets out in detail how the government, through the National Cyber Security Centre, is supporting our society and business leaders to be prepared for any future cyber attacks. The new tools we have created will help every kind of business, from the SME with a handful of employees to larger corporations with hundreds of staff. Our Cyber Action Toolkit that we are launching today is designed to empower sole traders and small businesses to take their first steps towards cyber protections. Our Cyber Essentials certification proves your organization is protected against common cyber threats, which also provides you with automatic cyber liability insurance for any UK organisation who certifies their whole organisation has less than 20 million annual turnover. Over 13,000 organisations are part of the free early warning service, giving them exclusive access to information on potential cyber attacks. And the NCSC's takedown service has seen over 1.2 million phishing campaigns removed from the internet, with half taken down within an hour of being detected. Now, Richard will go into more depth into this work in just a moment, but these are important steps forward, and I'm very grateful to NCSC and GCHQ for all their important work on this. Now, as the people who drive our economy, it is vital that we support our businesses in any way that we can. So we are creating a strong partnership on cybersecurity. We have shown through our work on Jaguar Land Rover and much more that we take this support very seriously. But I am clear that businesses cannot be protected by government alone. For that partnership to work, there needs to be a shared priority. And today, a letter has been sent to all of the CEOs of the FTSE 350 companies, signed by the Chancellor, the Business Secretary, the Tech Secretary, myself, and the heads of NCSC and the NCA. This letter implores those business leaders to recognise the threat that is facing them. Because for too long, cybersecurity has been a concern of the middle management and only gets escalated to the seniors in a crisis. It's not a case of if you will be the victim of a cyber attack. It's about being prepared for when that attack happens. When the NHS health supplier, Synovis, was attacked in 2024, there were major consequences. 11,000 appointments and procedures were postponed, and they lost an estimated £32 million compared to a reported profit of over 4.3 million the previous year. So such an attack can seriously harm a business overnight. And even if they survive it, the scars of brand damage can be long-lasting. Jobs could be put at risk, entire industries become vulnerable, and the wider economy suffers. Ask any CFO, and they will tell you which carries the bigger cost: having a thorough cybersecurity plan or not. Now, the government stands ready to help you, but we can only be a part of the answer. So I would encourage businesses to see this as a great opportunity. By investing in cybersecurity, you could build a reputation for being safe and secure. You could create a competitive advantage, whilst also investing in your stability and in your future growth, something which customers and investors would equally benefit from. Ladies and gentlemen, the technological revolutions of my childhood are museum pieces compared to today's innovations. But what's important today is that we understand tomorrow's technological threats to keep ourselves safe. Ahead of us is a threat landscape which is more complex and more intense than ever before. We all need to be ready to meet that challenge. And today's review shows that the government is doing more to make our cyber more secure, and together we must empower our citizens to make smart choices about their cyber behaviour. And we need businesses to recognise the challenge that faces them too. I know that through our combined efforts, we can make our economy more resilient and ensure that our world-leading businesses and the people who work for them remain safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Last year, I spoke to you about the widening gap between the rising pace of the cyber threat and the UK's collective resilience in facing that threat. This year, that gap continues to grow. So today, my message is simple. The time to act is now. Over the past few weeks and months, we've seen household names impacted by cyber incidents across all sectors of the economy, from retail to manufacturing and transport. And those are just the incidents that have made the headlines. Well, you may be able to recall a handful of specific stories. In the 12 months to the end of August this year, our incident management team was asked to support some 429 cyber incidents. When we dig into those numbers, nearly half of all incidents that have crossed our desks have been of national significance, meaning that on average, the NCSC has dealt with 4 nationally significant incidents a week. And 18 were classed as highly significant. Attacks which have a serious impact on central government, UK essential services, a large proportion of the UK population or the UK economy. That is a 50% increase on the previous year and a marked increase for the 3rd consecutive year. Now, it would be easy to look at these numbers and think we're under siege. We should hold up our hands and admit defeat. But that is not the case. We know that far, far more cyber attacks fail than succeed. That is not by chance. It's because organisations have built good defences. We're also seeing more organisations able to continue in the face of an attack that does break through because they were prepared. It can be done. But we do see our attackers improving their ability to cause real impact, to inflict pain on the organisations they've breached and those who rely on them. They don't care who they hit or how they hurt them. That is why we need all organisations to act. Cyber attacks are not just a matter of computers and data. They impact growth, prosperity, safety, national security, reputations, operations, bottom lines, lives, and livelihoods. As Shireen Khoury-Haque, the CEO of the Co-op, has said, there is nothing that can fully prepare you for the moment a cyber incident unfolds, and you receive that phone call. But worse than receiving that call is receiving it when you do not have a plan. I've sat now in too many rooms with individuals who have been deeply affected by cyber attacks against their organisations. I've seen the emotional impact written across their faces. I know the impact the disruption has on their staff, suppliers, customers, the worry, the sleepless nights, and the impact it has on the teams who work round the clock for weeks and months trying to put the pieces back together. So, the time to act is now. Every leader, whether you're one person at your kitchen table or the boss of thousands of people, you must have a plan to defend against criminal cyber attacks. And you must have a plan for continuity. You must know how to keep going should an attack get through. If your IT infrastructure was crippled tomorrow and all your screens went blank, could you run your payroll systems, or keep your machinery working, or stock your shelves? If the answer is no, or more likely, don't know, act now. Because when an attack does break through, it is the strength of these pre-engineered solutions that determines an organisation's ability to endure, respond, rebuild, survive. And confronting that challenge of continuity should make clear to every leader that cybersecurity is a risk to be managed by the whole organisation, led by the board, not one to just be delegated to technical experts. Now, 9 years in, the NCSC's mission is the same as it has always been, to make the UK the safest place to live and work online. And we're continuing to support organisations to act now to secure themselves. As you heard from the Security Minister, the new Cyber Action Toolkit that we're launching today will equip sole traders and small businesses to take their first steps towards cyber protection. The UK's minimum standard for cybersecurity, Cyber Essentials, is making it easier for organisations of all sizes across all sectors to get basic foundational defences right. And that comes with free cyber insurance for small businesses who opt in. For senior leaders and board members, our recently launched cyber governance training provides the clarity and confidence needed to govern cyber risk effectively. And we're not doing that alone. We're working with partners across industry to strengthen our collective resilience. For example, our Share and Defend service is working with internet service providers across the UK to block millions of attempted connections all the time to malicious websites by consumers, stopping attacks and fraud before they cause harm. We're working with our partners in the UK's intelligence community, including colleagues in the National Protective Security Authority. We know that our adversaries are combining cyber means with physical methods in order to further their aims. And we'll hear more about that from Ken McCallum, the Director General of MI5, later this week, when he speaks about the threats facing the UK. And we're working ever more closely with our international partners and friends, many of whom, I'm delighted to say, are here with us in the room today. Sovereign UK action alone can only take us so far in closing the widening gap. Together, we're building strong coalitions to stand united against hostile activity. Just last month, agencies from 13 nations came together to warn that 3 technology companies based in China have conducted a malicious global cyber campaign targeting critical networks on behalf of their host nation. And so, my question to every leader of every organisation is simple. What is your plan? How will you continue when your IT is gone? Because that plan must be written by you. No one can do it for you. And it is only by asking that question that you will truly understand the urgency of investing in cyber defences. And we in the NCSC are here to support and empower you. If we all act now, we can create a UK that thrives in our new digital world, with businesses and a society that can weather the digital storms that are inevitable, and the confidence to meet the challenges head on. Thank you. And I'd now like to invite our panel to the stage for the Q&A session.